Yokoso minasan, I'm Leo and I'm the professional weeb, and today I'll be reacting to Kaguya-sama Love Is War episode 1. Oh boy, another great anime to start in 2019. In fact, this season is such a strong season, definitely one of the strongest anime seasons we had in recent years, and perhaps even one of the strongest anime seasons in the entire decade. So many good anime are starting out in this year. Basically, we have really cool sequels in Mob Psycho 100 and Kakegurui, but also we have brand new anime starting out in this year in The Promised Neverland and now Kaguya-sama. All of those shows have been hyped for a long time now, and I'm happy to say that I'll be reacting to all 4 of those on this channel. So if you guys want to join me in this journey, please click down that subscribe button so you can watch them together with me. But that out of the way, Kaguya-sama Love Is War is one of those shows that has been recommended to me for a while now. What's interesting about this anime is that it is a romance anime, and it is a romance anime that many anime elitists or self-called anime elitists say that's probably one of the best romance anime out there, best comedy romance anime that exists basically. The manga for this anime has been praised by many of them, and it's interesting because usually those kind of people don't really praise romance anime. They usually, or even slice of life romance, they don't usually praise those shows that highly. Usually they're looking for more story driven shows or character driven shows. Those are the ones that interest them the most. But I've heard a lot of good things for this anime. And basically both camps in a way praised the show, both the anime elitists and the casuals, or you know, the normal people, the plebs, us that are below the elitists. Both of them basically praised this show, and it's quite a rare occurrence. If you've been part of the anime community, it's quite rare for both groups to agree on something. Usually it's an all-out war between those groups. Usually the elitists say that what the casuals watch is trash, and the casuals don't really care for the anime the elitists say that are the best anime. It's very rare for both of them to think alike on a show. So that's something that got my attention. The manga for this anime has been recommended to me like half a year ago, something like that, by a good friend of mine, but I heard that it is getting an anime, so I've been waiting patiently for this anime, and now today is finally my chance to experience the greatness that Kaguya-sama is supposed to be. Hopefully the adaptation is as well as the manga is good, because I've heard a lot, and I mean a lot of praise that this manga is such a fantastic work of art. So yeah, with that being said, let's jump into the anime, and hopefully it's going to be a great experience for all of us. Alright guys, so I'll be starting the show in 3, 2, 1, let's jam! Confession. Yes, you do confess? A giraffe and elephant, it's a flamingo on top. Oh. Okay. This already looks funny to me. I see. So you don't want to be the one confessing, basically. You don't want to fall in love. Yeah, the person falls in love first, loses. That's such a good, cool context for a... Oh, I already have the opening. Oh. It's different. I was actually expecting a more cutesy song for the opening. But it's an interesting take, honestly. Okay. So that's Kaguya, I assume. I don't know what the guy's name is, but I know those two are the main characters. Okay, holding guns. And some card games, so it's some strategy is implied. Oh, it's a cool look. It's really nice. It reminds me a lot of the Mob Psycho opening, you know, a lot of similar effects are used in both of them. But this song is definitely different from what you usually get in anime. It's not bad. I guess Love Is War. A prestigious school. Oh. Okay. I like the way this is going already. Everybody's so noble and nice. Oh. Okay, so they're like the student council. Oh my god. Damn. Oh my okay, we get it. She's a genius. She's rich. Okay. Shirogane Miyoki. Okay, so he's the exemplary student. Damn. So many formalities, you know, going to this, but in reality, it's just a high school. You don't really go to be that tight with all the preparation and formality. But it's a cool scenario to have this kind of story in. Ooh. The way they showed that room was so over the top. Oh. They speak like they're adults, like really old people. But in reality, they're just high school students. Okay, so he was prideful. Mm. Damn. So she thinks that he's a commoner. So they're both really prideful. They both think really highly of themselves. But they both seem to love each other. They have fallen for each other. Half a year passes. Not. That's one way to do a time skip. Okay, so they have like normal conversations. So that's the pretext of the show. So they basically want to make each other confess, because the one who confesses first is the loser. Oh. Damn. They're playing like 4D Yu-Gi-Oh! We're just living in a 3D world. They're basically playing 3D, 4D shogi or something. Uh, what is he going to do now? He has to come up with really good excuse to get out of it. Oh, so he's going with it. Ah, I like his approach. He goes in with confidence. I like how they both understand each other and understand the rules of the game that they've created. Oh, so she's the one who did everything from the start. She's the mastermind. Ah, I see. The voice acting is so nice. It's really good. Really fits her character. Oh. She's playing the cute girl. Yeah, Miss Innocent. Damn. She's confident in her skills as well. Okay, I really like those two characters. They're some of my favorites I've seen in romance anime. Mm, indeed. Yeah, because they both have to calculate inside their mind all the possible outcomes all the time. I like her too. She's she adds a nice dynamic to this couple. That Okay. Ara, ara, eh? Some men are real fools. She's going to accept it just to see his reaction. Oh. He can't say that. That's cute. What will he do? What will he do? Ah, obviously, she's strategizing. I like how even the narrator gets in with the jokes. Yeah. This is such a cool pretext for a romance anime. I really like the narrator for this show. His voice really fitting. Oh. For going on a date, you can get suspended. Yeah, you can't rat other people. Don't do that, man. Oh, even expulsion. This show is so smart, but yet so dumb at the same time. For the sake of argument. Damn. Ah, he's one step ahead of her. Yeah. She's always the one adding chaos to to their game. She's cute though. I like her character a lot. Yeah, obviously, she doesn't get to see lunch boxes for normal people. Yeah, she's a rich girl, and he's a commoner, but he's really intelligent. Damn, that actually looks really, really nice. I haven't eaten in a few hours, and now I'm really starting to get hungry because of this scene. Taco-san win, the way she said. I like how the secretary always gets in between them, always makes things go the wrong way. Oh, she did the improper thing at the beginning of the episode. I mean, the second half of the episode. She's going to eat the octopus. Damn, that's dark. Yeah, true. Don't want it to get cold. That's an indirect kiss. This is so ridiculous, man. Like, so over the top. uh, Damn. I wonder what she's going to do tomorrow. Let's see. Oh, that's a huge bento. What will he do now? Oh, they don't want to. uh, it looks like Kaguya is going to lose again today. Is that her catchphrase? How cute. Oh my god, the art style changes so much in the show, but it's actually so good. It fits the show so much. It's insane how good this adaptation is. The manga is probably really good, but I think the anime so far did it justice. Probably even better than the manga. It's absolutely insane how well the direction for this show is. Oh, that's so cute. Oh. How can you hate someone like that? You can't. Mm. You're definitely a human being. Did Kaguya really win though? I guess he ran away, so it makes sense. Okay, so this is a new character. Is she like a maid for her? You would go? That's so cute, actually. Oh, that was amazing. I absolutely loved that this episode. It was incredibly good. One of my favorite episodes that I've seen lately. Really, really good. But yeah, I'll talk more about it in the second part of the video. Alright guys, so before I go into my review of this episode, I want just to take just a moment to say, damn, this episode was probably the best episode I've seen from new anime in this year. It was such a good first episode, a good debut episode for a comedy, and it's something that I didn't expect. I didn't expect this show to be so interesting to me. I was laughing the entire time. If you go and watch my full-length reaction, you will see that pretty much for the entirety of the episode I was either laughing, either thinking what they were going to do. It was very engaging. Very strong first episode, and probably the best, and that's high praise considering that a couple days ago I've seen the first episode of The Promised Neverland, which again was a fantastic episode, but something in me tells me that this was slightly better, if you know what I mean. I enjoyed this episode a little bit more than I enjoyed The Promised Neverland, and that's something I didn't expect. I can now understand and see why so many people were praising the manga, because the comedy is so original in a way, so unique. I've never really experienced something some comedy anime that does this kind of stuff, and I've seen quite a few comedy anime over the years. But yeah, I wanted to really say that this episode was fantastic, definitely a 10 out of 10, and I'm so excited for the second episode of Kaguya-sama. But yeah, now for the review of the episode, we got the opening, and I'll talk a bit about that first before I go into the characters and what has happened. But basically, the opening was different, and it was unexpected. That's how I would characterize it. Most of the song in the opening was in English, which is not something that you normally see in anime. I guess some of them do from time to time use English songs as openings, but for a romance, for a comedy, rom-com anime, I was expecting more like a cutesy song, if you know what I mean, because that's what they usually go with. something that's really cute, you know, high energy, really high pitch. But it was the opposite way around. It was a quite deep song, and it was in English for most of the time, not Japanese. It was a nice touch. The visuals were good, but overall, about the opening, I say it was a good opening, a strong opening, but not one of the best I've seen or something like that. It fits the show definitely, and it's nice before the episode, but yeah, I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece or, you know, a top 10 opening, something like that, but it is a really nice opening. It's cool. That's basically my final verdict. It's cool. That being said, what's probably the strongest point of this show are the characters. The characters are really good, and what I like about them is that they're built on top of common archetypes of characters, but they've added so much more character to them in this short span of time. Just in 20 minutes, they basically gave them so much characterization using their actions and being able to see the way they think, their thought process. They become so much more relatable in a way, but also they become 3D characters rather than just being archetype characters. Because obviously Kaguya, the main girl character, the one who the anime's names is based on, is obviously based on a tsundere character. She obviously has a lot of traits, but she's also her own character in a way. It's not just a regular tsundere that you see in a harem anime or whatever, you know. She has her own persona, her own personality, and that's really cool. I think for the first episode, they did a great job showcasing us, the characters, and what we'll go through in the next episode. So, Kaguya, the main girl, she's a rich girl. She is the daughter of Shinomiya conglomerate, I believe, which is like the biggest, the most profitable business in Japan or whatever. So yeah, she's basically been a rich girl all her life. That's probably why the show is called Kaguya-sama, now that you think about it. She also acts like a princess in a way, you know. She's very noble in her actions and in her way of speaking. But what's interesting is her thought process is completely detached from how she acts. She thinks in a way, but she acts in a different way, and it's just so cool. Because inside her mind, you get, when we get to see in the episode how the way she thinks, she obviously thinks very highly of her. And she doesn't think highly. She thinks that the other people are commoners. Basically, they're barely human. You know, even in this at the end of the episode, her friend she recognized her as a human, and that's like probably her best girlfriend. So yeah, she obviously thinks she's like a level above everybody else. She thinks she's some kind of goddess or whatever, which is nice because obviously if you are raised in the kind of environment she was raised, it does make sense. And probably in the future episodes, one way they are going to make them funny, or one source of comedy will be her background, because obviously she doesn't understand, or she's never done a lot of things that normal people do in a way, because she's always been taken care of, because she always had so much money. She didn't get to experience what Shinomiya probably did, and her friend Chika, I believe that's her name. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I think Chika is her name. That's what I'll say. If it's wrong, please do correct me in the comment section so I don't make that mistake again. But yeah, she's like very clueless when it comes to how normal people do regular day things, and that's probably one source of comedy that will get more and more showcased in the future episodes. But I like her as a character. I like that she has, in a way, a soft side, despite of her being a really strong-willed and strong-minded person, despite of her being really prideful and thinking that she's above everybody else, basically. She's also like a little girl inside, you know, and that's what's so funny. She's so cute when she acts that way. And she doesn't really do that often. Probably she only does it when either she wants to obtain something. It was explained in this episode that it's a skill passed from members of family or whatever. Yeah, either when she's alone at the end of the episode with her maid, when she's not in public. She probably isn't able to act all that cutesy when she's in public, and yeah, that's really cool. Adds another layer to her character, and I like her. I think she's probably the best girl of this season, and yeah, when the poll on the anime Reddit comes out for a vote, which you think the best girl of the season is or whatever, but my vote for now goes to Kaguya. I think she's brilliant. She's smart, she's cute, she's everything a good waifu should be. I'm talking about waifus. But yeah, let's talk about the main male character as well, Shinomiya. She's obvious. I can't think straight. He is obviously a really smart guy, top of the students, the most intelligent one. Excuse me. And obviously he's prideful as well. He's not as prideful as Kaguya, because obviously he is, at the end of the day, a commoner. He wasn't raised in the kind of environment Kaguya was raised in, so he obviously has more experience when it comes to normal, everyday kind of stuff. But he also is a level above basically the normal people, because he's so damn smart. He always has the highest grades, and he is the president of the student council at the end of the day. So obviously he is put in a position of power. And the way he speaks, their interaction is really cool, because they speak like they're like 60 years old, 50 years old, you know, businessmen going over their business and yeah, stuff like that. But in their head, we have to think at all times that those guys are high school students at the end of the day, and they're normal high school students who have high school student problems, you know. A lot of teenagers, in general, I mean, teenagers have a lot of problems. They finally understand how they should interact with others, how they should communicate their feelings, and obviously Shinomiya has never communicated his feelings, and is probably bad at just straight up confessing. Not that he would want to, because they both are. It's pretty clear that they both love each other quite a lot. They're both fallen for each other, but it's their pride that stops them from confessing, basically. And it's such a cool interaction, because normally in romance anime you wait for a confession to happen, you know. It's that episode, you know, towards the end of the season, when finally the guy confesses and finally they have like their lovely moment, they kiss or whatever, you know, and everything's happy. But in this anime is like the opposite thing. You don't want to confess. It's such a it basically turns the whole genre on its head and becomes more like a game rather than just a romance story, you know. So I can definitely see why this anime is highly appreciated by many people, even those who have been watching anime for years now, for even some of them even for decades now. Those people like this anime because it's original, right? It's different. It does things in a different way, but the setting is just like high school, right? It's such a common setting that you see in basically every single romance anime out there. But the way they go with the plot of the story, and their goal basically is not to confess, not to be together. Their goal is to make the other person confess, and it adds such a cool dynamic, because both Kaguya and Shinomiya are on some Death Note level kind of intelligence, right? They're both considering all the outcomes, all the possible outcomes, and they basically want to make the other person make a misplay before and take advantage of that. And yeah, it's absolutely great. I'm in love with the way the show is going, the setting, and the pretext for this anime is absolutely brilliant. And yeah, now Chika is the other character, the pink-haired girl that was introduced in this episode, and she adds so much to their dynamic, because without her I believe it would be quite stale. the show itself, even at the beginning, made a joke. It was a time skip, right, of 5 weeks or something like that, or even months. I forgot exactly the number, but yeah, a long period of time where nothing is happening. Because Kaguya and Shinomiya are both so smart that they wouldn't make a mistake, right? They wouldn't confess their feelings, because both of them want to win at the end of the day. They both want to make the other confess first. So they don't want to be the loser, and because they're so smart, they can't predict each other, and this also adds a lot to their relationship, because when you think about it, they're both understand each other so much. They're on the same wavelength, if you know what I mean. They both understand how the other person thinks, and you know, they're so cute. They definitely make a good couple, but they don't want to admit, they don't want to be a couple, because this game is so much fun. And Chika, she doesn't understand how far ahead they are thinking, and she basically is that element of chaos and just, you know, cuteness that is just thrown into the mix, and she basically destroys the perfect balanced plan that they both had. Without her in the story, I don't think anything would happen. Basically, they'll both play a perfect game, and nobody will say anything. Nobody will even consider confessing, because they'll both predict what each other is going to say. But Chika, because she's not on their level, they can't predict her. She's the unpredictable element in this triangle or whatever. And yeah, she adds a lot to the story. I definitely like her. I like the way she's clueless about their feelings. She even comes with the tickets. She even doesn't realize that they have feelings for each other. Well, one reason is that they're both so good at hiding those feelings for each other. But yeah, she is a fantastic character, and she adds a lot to the dynamic. That's what I'm going to say. Hopefully there will be more characters other than them. At the end of the episode, we got to see the maid, so she'll probably play some kind of role. I don't think she will come to the high school unless she is a high school student over there, because she looked quite young. She's not like an older than Kaguya. But she'll probably be the person that Kaguya can show her true self to. Probably the person who will give Kaguya advices how to do things like a normal human being, like a normal person that's not been raised in a millionaire family. So that's what I'm thinking she is going to do. But I believe there should be like another character or two maybe added into the mix to spice things up a little bit, because so far this Chika character is definitely a lot closer to Kaguya than Shinomiya. She is the secretary for the student council, but yeah, she's obviously a good friend of Kaguya, probably her best friend, because we got that flashback with Kaguya's memories of all the things they did together. So yeah, they obviously been together for quite a while now. And what I think this scenario is another character that's maybe Shinomiya's friend. You know, he doesn't have anybody that's close to him, or at least in this episode, nobody who he could talk more about. Because we have Kaguya and she has her maid, and they can talk about, you know, Kaguya can show her real self to her, and Chika is like the girl in the middle of them, because she's the one who starts everything. And on the other side we have Shinomiya, and that's pretty much it. You know, at this point in time he's alone, he doesn't have anybody, and I'm hoping that in the future episodes like another character gets introduced who is closer to Shinomiya than Kaguya, if you know what I mean. Somebody who's not really going to interact much with Kaguya, but will interact a lot with Shinomiya. I think the show is going to introduce that character, because it will come to a point where another character will be much needed. But so far, this episode was fantastic. I really liked the way they did it. But yeah, it was over the top. That's one way to put it. It was really intelligent, really smart, but at the same time really dumb, if you think about it, because in their heads they're playing this, I said 4D Yu-Gi-Oh! I believe during the episode, but yeah, that's basically it. They play on such a high level and they consider all the possible outcomes, but the things they are so worried about are really dumb, really normal things, like going to a movie or going to a dinner with somebody on a date. You know, they they take something that's so simple, so usual, so normal, and bring it over the top, and that's probably one of the strongest points of this comedy, because that thing will work, and it won't only work in the first episode, it will probably work in for like 100 more episodes, because Kaguya obviously doesn't understand normal people life and the way normal people do things. She never had a taco wiener. That's funny the way they said it in the episode. It's still funny to me. But yeah, she never really had commoner food, I guess. And she probably didn't have a lot of normal people things. So obviously she's going to raise all those regular stuff that we do maybe on a daily basis, weekly basis, something like that. She's going to make a big problem out of them. And I like that Shinomiya is playing along with her in that. So yeah, it was brilliant, you know, absolutely brilliant comedy. I was laughing the entire episode. I can't say more than that. You know, a comedy is good when you keep on laughing for the entirety of the episode. The last point I want to touch in this review are the special effects, the art, the animation, basically the production value of this episode. When it comes to the animation, it was nothing crazy, which is to be expected in a comedy or a romance anime, because you don't really have those action scenes with where you actually need to draw a lot of images, different images, to make the action really fluid and whatever. But the art and the special effects, oh, it was so good, so different. So they had so many different backgrounds, you know, and it was so creative. I really like the way when they go inside their head. You got this chess board, you know, the black and white squares, which symbolize basically the strategy they're playing, the high level gameplay they have in their heads. But also you get like the VCR effect, you know, like an old movie, which gives us, the viewers, the idea. It makes us easy to understand that this thing is going in their head, is a scenario that's playing in their head. I think that was a really good way to show them, and really brilliant. We also have that scene with Kaguya where she's like, you know, that's cute, how cute. That was really funny as well. That's probably her catchphrase. I expect to see that again in future episodes. I don't know if every episode she'll do it, but yeah, it's a joke that will probably come over and over the episodes. But yeah, definitely the art style is quite simple. It's quite different from normal romance anime. For, you know, if there was like a standard for romance anime, it's a bit different. The characters look a lot skinnier in a way, but it's really cool. It fits the show definitely. I like Kaguya's eyes. I don't know if that's some important detail, but the design is really cool. I like how she has like a flame, and even in this episode it was like a scene where it was a flame in the background and you can see it in her eye. It was really well done. But yeah, the production is really good. I just like the way the backgrounds change constantly. It's not just a boring room. We got the 3D over the top presentation of the room, that basically all the action, or most of the action, took place in a single room, which is crazy to think about, because it has so many different backgrounds. Because yeah, we have backgrounds when they're on their head, we have backgrounds when they make like a plan or something like that, or when they predict how the other person is going to act. It was really insane. From a production value, I can really respect, and I only have good things to say to the studio who animated this, because it definitely fit the show. It definitely added a lot. I think without the constant backgrounds, the creative backgrounds, it wouldn't have the comedy wouldn't had such a strong effect on us. It's a really good visual communicator for the comedy that's going, and you know, just the show. They did a fantastic job on a production level. That's what I have to say. But guys, I think I've talked enough about this episode. I'll be again with the second episode of Kaguya-sama on this channel. You can go as well to that link that's probably somewhere around this region of the screen. You can go to my Patreon basically to watch this episode in full length, because YouTube basically forces me to cut it really a lot, and you won't be able to see how much I actually laughed during this episode because I probably have to cut a lot of that out. But thank you YouTube, thank you copyright, what can you do about it? We have to live with the system that is in place. But yeah, I'll be reacting to more anime on this channel, so make sure if you enjoy my reaction to hit that subscribe button, go to my Patreon if you want to see the full reaction, and you know, there's more tiers, more rewards. You can even join my Discord channel. We can talk about this anime and other anime together. But yeah, I've been Leo, I'm the professional weeb, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Sayonara.